Self-doubt usually shows up at night. You lie in bed, replaying your mistakes, imagining failures, and somehow convincing yourself that you're not enough. The problem is, those late night thoughts don't stay in the night. They follow you into the morning. And before your day even starts, you're already behind. But here's the truth, you can interrupt that cycle. You can reset your mind and wake up with zero self doubt overnight. Let me show you how. Most people try to push self doubt away. They either distract themselves with a screen scrolling all night or tell themselves that let's not think about it. But when you bury doubt, it only digs deeper. So the first step is simple yet powerful. Write it down. Take a notebook or a scrap of paper, or maybe you can even use the notes on your phone if you must. And start writing the exact thoughts circling in your mind. Do not polish it, do not analyze it, just write it down. Just those pure, raw emotions you feel. You might write things like, I'm not capable enough to handle this project. Or, what if I embarrass myself tomorrow with this presentation? And overall, I always find a way to mess things up. Now, why does this matter? Just writing down, it doesn't make quite sense, right? Let me tell you why. Because whatever we feel late at night are vague thoughts, and vague thoughts feels endless. It never ends, it keeps on going. They swirl around and grow bigger and bigger because they have no endpoint or edges. And the moment you put those thoughts into words, they shrink. You no longer feel this endless train of thoughts, but you just see it in front of you in written. They stop being a fog that clouds your mind and become something you can look at. In psychology, this process is called cognitive diffusion. It means separating yourself from your thoughts. Instead of being trapped inside your own story of I'm not enough, you can look at it from the outside. So think about it. You have a friend and he or she tells you, I'm a failure. You don't just believe them right away, right? You try to talk to them, convince them, oh no, that's not true. You're not a failure. I've seen you do certain things, which means you naturally question it when it's about someone else's self doubt. And you need to do the same about your own self doubt. Because when it's your own, just like your friend, you accept it as a fact. And there's something else. Writing down gives you that same distance because you have moved from a passive receiver of your self doubt to an active observer of your own self doubt. And that's the first reset. And the next one gets more interesting. If you are a student looking for scholarships or universities abroad, you need help crafting a standout CV, or you want expert feedback on your motivation letter, I offer personalized consulting services to get you ahead. All for a small fee, you can get expert help. All you have to do is visit my website in the description. There, click on book now and you fill the Google Forms. All the information is embedded in there and I will take care of the rest because I have done this before. Now it's my turn to help you out. Now that you've written down your own thoughts, do not just close the notebook. That's not the end. And this second step is where the reset actually happens. Right next to each of your self doubt, write one line of evidence that contradicts your self doubt. So let's try this. If the doubt is, I always mess up, and the evidence might be, but I finished my assignment last week on time. And that's just an example. Another, if the doubt is, I cannot handle challenges, and the evidence to that might be, but I handled this difficult conversation with my boss last week. One more doubt, I'm not good enough compared to others. And the evidence to that might be people have complimented to the work I've done before. People praised me for it because I did well. So this isn't about denying your doubts. It's not about toxic positivity, but it's about balance. So imagine a scale. On the left is self-doubt. If you have that evidence to balance the doubt, it's on the same tipping scale, right? On the same level, I mean. Because when you balance a negative thought with something positive and contradictory, you are training your brain to see the fuller picture. And here's the thing, our brain is biased towards danger and most of the negative things. We think more about our own failures and mistakes more than the wins and success we have, right? That's why self doubt feels so convincing because it's your brain that's exaggerating the risk. But when you actively bring in real evidence, you remind yourself that doubt isn't the whole truth. So, even writing down a small sentence or a paragraph of your own self doubt, which felt like an immovable and thick wall, proves that you can actually poke a hole in it. Now comes the real plan. By now, you have written down your thoughts, and on the other side, you have balanced them with facts. But before sleeping tonight, you need to take one more step, planting a cue in your mind. This is a short sentence, almost like a mantra you should tell yourself before you sleep. But it's not something that's cheesy or corny, like I'm unstoppable, I'm on top of the world, I'm better than everyone else. No, we're not trying to say that to ourselves. But instead, we say, I have doubted myself before, but look at me, here I am. I've already moved forward. Because it's normal to feel unsure, right? But it doesn't mean that you're stuck there. Self doubt or doubt in general is just a thought, it's not a prophecy. It's not like the self doubt you have today is not going to turn out to be the same exact outcome when it actually happens in the future. No. And this reaffirmation is very important. You know why? Because of this word, rumination. It's that endless mental replay of mistakes or imagined failures is what keeps self doubt alive. When you give your mind that simple and compassionate phrase, like reaffirming yourself, that breaks the whole cycle. So think of it this way, you will not let your best friend sleep with someone whispering in their ears, "You're not good enough, you're evil, and you're not a good person." So why let yourself fall asleep that same way? It's the last line you give your brain before it drifts off, before you sleep. You are reminding yourself of the truth. And when you wake up, truth is the first thing that's waiting for you. And finally, the morning thing. Here is where the overnight reset becomes a challenge, the morning proof. Because no matter how much reframing you do or that reaffirmation you do, the first thing you do in the morning decides if that cycle of self doubt continues or not. So, before you sleep, decide one thing you will do as soon as you wake up. It doesn't have to be huge. The smaller, the better. Maybe something like sending that text you have always been avoiding, or write down that first draft or the first sentence in your project, or simply just wake up, get up on time, make your bed. Why? Because self doubt thrives in hesitation. If you wake up and spend the first hour scrolling and doing nothing just to feel ready, self doubt has already won. But if you act first, you collect evidence. And the idea is that action comes before motivation. Confidence doesn't just come out of thin air, it's built on proof. Think about the times you have doubted yourself before. Those doubts did not disappear until and unless you acted on them, right? You acted and then you realized you could handle it. So tomorrow morning, don't wait to feel different. Do the small action you have decided tonight. And let that action you take in the morning be evidence that self doubt is no longer in control and that you have reset it overnight. Now, notice none of these small steps erase self doubt, right? The goal isn't to wake up as a flawless, confident person. The goal is to wake up one step ahead of that voice of self doubt. Tonight, you write it down, you balance them with facts, then you plan your cue, and tomorrow, you prove to yourself with action that self doubt is no longer in control. And that's how you overcome self doubt overnight, by not pretending that self doubt is no longer there, but by refusing to let it decide who you are the next day. And there are three laws in life, and it changes everything. Feel free to watch this video on how the three laws of life changes us in every aspect, how we live, how we love, and how we work.